Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on the How About That Season 1 SMP. Last episode we built this brand new house to replace our other house because, well, pretty simply I just didn't like the way it looked and I thought it was a massive downgrade compared to everything else in this area. Now, I know it's been quite a while since the last episode. It's actually been a few weeks since I've last been in here. I have been working on projects and other videos in the meantime, and just this week Minecraft Legends dropped, so I put the last 4 days worth of energy, literally all day, just into making videos based on that. So, I have also changed some audio settings, and I would like to know what you guys think down in the comments below on how this audio sounds. So, if you could, please let me know what you think about that. But, if we get back to the point at hand, last episode, we built this beautiful house. But if you notice, the landscape all around just kind of looks bleh. It's all stone, there's some netherrack, porch spam everywhere, it's just disgusting. So, today, we are going to gather the resources needed to, well, change this and landscape the area down here. Now, my intentions is to continue this moss theme and keep the lush cave kind of vibe going all throughout here. So to do that, we are going to add a building up here. I've already planned everything out and fit it into the building. We are going to make a moss farm. So what we're going to have to do is terrain this entire area up here for this building to go in. I have been able to somehow cram the tiniest moss farm ever thought imaginable inside of this building. We need a lot of moss so that we can have fun down there, so we gotta clean this out and make a building. Now, I have already gathered the resources needed to make that building, because I kind of thought nobody really wants to wait and watch me gather resources, so this is everything we're gonna need for it. So between episodes, I actually filled out our storage system, so we've got everything sorted away. All of our belongings are either in the storage system or in our ender chest now, so that is very good. Without further ado, I think we should go ahead and get started on today's project. So we're gonna go ahead and clear that space up there out. Alright everybody, landscape is done. It's definitely crude. This is just a in-between stages landscape. But as of right now, it will get the job done while we construct the building. So for the building, what we're just going to go ahead and do is fly on down here. And voila! There's now a building. Now, yeah, this is a terrible place for that because of all the vines, but there is a new building there. I do think it looks very nice. Very pleased with how it's come out so far. It is an identical copy to that one down there actually. It's just very different on the coloration, and these are supposed to be stripped. But it looks very nice. The landscaping around it though is going to be such a mess. Figuring this out is going to be so difficult. But with the moss roof, I think it will fit in, and I can make this work. I love the roof and how, if you're walking on it, so many vines and things and all the flowers. Overall, I think this looks very nice. Interior-wise, I've just laid out a floor. I've got to actually go ahead and make the machine and mechanics, everything in here now. In my original test world, when I built this, I actually had walls on the interior all around here. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to do that because it was so tight and crammed in there. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit more room, making this a bit easier to do in survival. But this is still going to be very cramped, very tight, and a very compact machine. I guess it's time for me to go ahead and put the machine on the inside. Alright, everybody. So, it's been a little bit. I have constructed the main base for the farm. This is a moss farm. So how this works is there's this little clock here. When you flick that lever, it will stick up this block here, so it will finish the circuit, and it will run this redstone all the way up, activating a stone generator, which doesn't seem to be working all the time, and I'm not totally sure why. It was working 100% in my test world. It seems to be a bit buggy now. It's probably because we're on a realm, and realms tend to have more lag than worlds, so. But it does still work. That'll produce the stone. This block right here, with this same timer, will get bone mealed, producing more moss in the area and spawning stuff on top of it. And it can spawn stuff up here. That's why all these pistons are in place to break it. And this little system right here is just an observer to sense that redstone setting off. This will then have that stuff spawn on top of it, and after a 4-tick delay, this piston will break whatever has spawned on top of that moss block. And with the stone and pistons behind, when you push moss into the side of another block, it will just break if that block is immovable. So when I turn this on, it just starts farming moss. And all the moss ends up going down here. Now, in my creative test world though, when you turn this on, there's this clock that comes on over here. And that's because there's a whole item sorter setup thing over here. I'm actually going to turn this off right now. And what happens with this whole item sorter setup thing over here is it separates out the normal moss and sends it up to a water stream that will end up in the delivery chest right here. And all this other stuff that I don't want, like flowering azaleas, seeds, moss carpets, gets run through a composter, turned back into bone meal, and that bone meal gets fed into this dispenser right here to power the farm. Now, it does not produce enough bone meal in return to just infinitely be able to power itself, but it makes enough to ensure that it's going to be easier and I'm not going to put in as much. So that is the progress point we are at. I'm going to go ahead and work on this part now, because that part is a lot more complicated than this, and yeah, it's really difficult to squeeze in there. But I'm going to go ahead and get to that. I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Alright everybody, I have finished the interior machinery for this build. Now, looking around the outside, I'm going to need to do something to cover this up, and just in general, all this landscaping needs some work, but we will now be able to make the moss to do that. If we step on inside, I already explained the clock and the stone generator, all of this to you, but if we just walk around back really, this is all the new stuff that I've added, and it actually goes relatively deep. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of explain this to you very simply. So, this minecart right here is the collection system. All the moss and stuff runs down this hopper line over this hopper, which will sort out only the moss. That moss will then go down, across, and into this dropper tower, which will get powered, sending all the moss straight up into that water stream, pushing it across into this chest, which I will show you in a sec when I turn this on. Now, anything else? The carpets, seeds, azalea bushes, flowering azalea bushes, come over to this hopper, and they go down into this composter, making bone meal. The bone meal gets collected, sent across into where it is right now. Now, this block under this repeater is currently powered. That's why it's not going anywhere. But when I turn on the farm, it gets unpowered, so it will all start filling this up. Goes up this dropper tower, into that hopper, and gets put right into this dispenser. So, since we have currently got 0 moss, and there's a lot of terrain area down there, and around this house that we need to terrain and fill up, let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see how much we make in an hour. I'm only going to actually run it for 5 minutes though, and then we're just going to multiply our results by whatever 60 divided by 5 is. 12, right? Yeah. Yeah, 12. Anyway, gonna go ahead and do that. Alright guys, just 15 more seconds of runtime here. Just kind of thought I'd bring you guys in so you can just generally see the farm working. Now it appears this collection area over here is not perfect. Some stuff seems to be getting stuck in the corners. But, oh, timer has just ended. Turn this off. But I did fix this issue down here with it being slow and that dropping. I had this repeater on a full 4 ticks. Turns out it was supposed to be there. I did not notice that in the screenshots that I was building off of, but you know, it's now been fixed. Anyway, after 5 minutes, we got almost a full 5 stacks. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pull up my calculator. We're going to just say 5 times 64, and then we're going to multiply that by 12, divide that by 64. So on average, we should be getting about 60 stacks for every hour that this farm is running. I know that is not the greatest in terms of moss farms. There are much better ones out there. This is the way I chose to do it. I wanted it to be small and compact so that it fit inside of this building and looked nice. So to all those of you who are probably going to be down in the comments saying so-and-so did it better, you could have done it this way. I know I chose to do it this way because the entire purpose of this base that I'm going for down here is just beauty. I want all these builds to just generally focus on detail and look nice, and that is what I'm trying to prioritize here. So that's why for all of these, I've done the building first before trying to squeeze in any contraptions. Anyways, now that this moss farm is now running, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just let it run in the background. Ooh, lightning. I'm just going to let it run in the background while I go ahead and figure out the terrain and landscape around this house, because this is going to be a bit tricky to deal with. So, I'm going to bring you guys back once I've got a plan for this or have decent progress. Alrighty, everybody. So, there's a slime coming at me. It's been a little while. I have done plenty of terraining around the area. I've done all kinds of bone meal and stuff, just trying to make the area look natural, feel good. Because you got to remember when it comes to building things like this, that the land was there first. So when it comes to detailing the landscape and everything and making it fit, you got to make it look like the house was placed on top of the land. That's why certain builders like to do the land first. Realistically, I should start doing that, but I don't. So just makes it a little bit more challenging and a little more fun to try and make it look all natural with the landscaping after the fact. But I think I pulled this one off pretty well. It appears I have missed a spot right here, but I can just do this. You saw absolutely nothing. And yeah. On the inside, everything is still the same as the last clip. I did let this go ahead and run. I had a total full one full chest worth of moss. Sorry, I'm struggling with words right now. But I used quite a bit, 6 stacks worth of moss on this. Yeah, all in all, I am very, very happy with it. I think I need to make a little bit of a pass coming from here and try and start planning out how people are going to get around this cave when you don't have wings. Like I said before, I do plan to put a massive tree in the center, and I'm thinking branches could stick out, and that's how you can get from the bottom and all these different levels connecting. What I'm going to do is I need to start collecting as much moss and stuff as possible and plan out exactly how this landscape down here is going to work. Because next episode, we are not only going to be doing this area, but we're also going to be tearing apart and doing everything imaginable back here. And we're actually going to leave this area alone because I've got entirely separate plans for this. I think it's going to be really fun, but that's not something that I want to landscape right now because I'm just going to end up tearing it all apart. But these massive areas got to get all done. Unfortunately, I am out of time for this episode, though, so that will not be getting done today. However, if you guys have enjoyed and you want to see how those bits of terraforming do in the next episode, you should smash that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you know when I upload that video. Anyways, guys, this has been Mr. Gaming Aquatic, and I'll see you next time. Bye.